It's a beautiful morning and it's a healthy Thursday. It's good for you to always try to write in the morning, work in the afternoon, and in the evening try to put everything together and see how well you have been able to labor. You have been able to put one or two things together. You've been able to make life, out of yourself. Like I always say, life is a gift, so use it well. How are you this morning? It's a cool morning, like it is. A cool Thursday morning. Today is actually the third day in the month of April 2025. And third stands for Trinity. So I bless God for your life, for my life, for Nigeria, for Lagos State, for Galaxy Television, is the station, and the program is Family and Values. What is all about family and values? It's all about the values that we need to continue to remind ourselves, to talk about, to let our young ones, growing youths, those who are married, those who are yet to be married, those who are preparing, those who are still very young, who are exhibiting adulthood, to know and to understand and to remember or bring to their notice those things that has to do with the value that makes us human. The values that talk about our well-being. That is what we do on a Thursday like this. So Thursday is a healthy Thursday. We bring in specialists in the area of health, your mental state, your physical state. And when you talk about spiritual, sometimes that's the process we are going through now, because thank God for our brothers and sisters in Islam who just finished their fasting. But the Lent still continues, and those who are still fasting are still fasting. So my name is Olori Adejoke Adum David. My friends call me Olori AJ. It's another beautiful morning. And anytime you see us here, Mondays to Friday, we run the show together on a Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. every Mondays to Friday. So all I just want you to do is to sit back, relax, and let us enjoy today together. A big shout out goes to Pastor Adeni and also Dr. Christiana Jedediah, as they are celebrating their wedding anniversary. And I want to wish them many more joy, love, peace, care, understanding, and continuous communication in their home. So many more honey in your home. So you're welcome to the show. And as we continue with today's show, the weather this morning was just cool. If you notice that, say hi. If you did not, say nay. Anyway, it's time for us to go for our mini feature. I will be right back as the show continues. So stay tuned. Let's see what we have for you today. Okay, welcome back. Good morning. It's still Family and Values. If you're just joining us, this morning we're talking about diphtheria. Diphtheria, it's a sickness, or it's a disease, that many are not so conversant with. And this morning we'll be talking about what are the causes, the likely symptoms, and how can we prevent it. What are those things we need to take notice of when we feel certain, way in our body, on ourselves, in our thoughts, in every area of our life as we continue to discuss this. So this morning we have on our Zoom, joining us live here in Lagos, Dr. Sumola Samiat. Hello, doctor. How are you? She is a medical officer with General Hospital Shomolu. Dr. Samiat, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You've been practicing for almost 5 years.
Yes, my graduation.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Okay, so doctor, it's a beautiful morning and it's an honor to have you this morning. And so I want to find out what is diphtheria and how does it affect our body? How does it affect our body?
Diphtheria, like you rightly mentioned, is a disease that is caused by Corynebacterium diphtheria. I would really, first of all, I really appreciate bringing me on to this show to talk to people about this particular illness, because I'm sure even though a lot of people might not really be conversant with what diphtheria is, but we might have heard from radio station or television these days, people talking about it. And that is because there is a current outbreak of diphtheria. So it's a good time to educate ourselves again and remind us on what this illness is, what we can do to prevent it, and the likes. So concerning your question, diphtheria is an illness that is a disease rather that is caused by a bacteria, Chronobacterium diphtheria, and it usually causes like a respiratory infection. So what that means is that it causes infection in the throat that now translates into like a respiratory illness. So basically, just to sum it up, that is what diphtheria is. I don't know if you want me to like go forward or you just ask me questions and I'll answer as we go.
So we'll be asking the questions and you just give us the answers to them. Thank you.
Okay, I love the simplicity of what you just summarized to make it more simpler for people to understand. But let me ask, what are the symptoms and is it transmissible? Can it move from one person to another? What are the symptoms we should look out for, in the course of watching out for this outbreak? And is it transmissible? Can it transfer from one family member to another family member?
Okay, thank you. So the symptoms of diphtheria, it can mimic any other respiratory illness. Mothers and fathers used to their children having sore throat, cough, and all of that. So diphtheria actually mimics any other respiratory illness. So the common symptoms that we see, the child doesn't only happen in children. The person can start having sore throat, so there's a feeling of paining me, I cannot swallow well. So for children, they might want to refuse food, not because they don't want to, but because they feel a lot of discomfort. So this is very important for children because they might not really be able to know exactly what is going on. But the child that eats well, so that this child is not collecting, or you put in saliva more than usual. They can be because they cannot swallow the saliva, they cannot swallow food, so they are refusing to eat. Also, they cannot cough, like I mentioned earlier. Then it's also possible when they cough or when they drink out saliva, they might sweat the blood in saliva. So taking this very special for just know their body, and you can easily say, oh, this circuit is bad, because something like going on. So for children, we have to be very, very, very careful with them. Also, they can be triggered. So your child doesn't really want to shivering, chills, and that's danger. So the person might be feeling very full, and while the person is feeling very off at the same time. Yes, I think those are the like common symptoms that we see. Then also, it's also respiratory issues, which means that the person is not able to breathe. So, and again, they'll be able to tell when they cannot breathe well. They'll be able to say, oh, there's an issue with my breathing. But in children, what we need to look out for is the way they are telling us when they are breathing. It feels like they're having labor breathing, like the breathing just faster or maybe harder than usual. So we need to be very, very particular with children. So stop this thing before it gets late.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sumola. I want to ask, who is at risk contacting diphtheria? And I also wanted to find out, but you mentioned the one for children. How does it affect children? Does it affect them differently from adults? So the first one is which at risk contacting diphtheria. So how does it affect children differently from adults?
Okay. So diphtheria can actually affect people of all ages. Before we see it more in children, it was more like a illness. Recently, we are also seeing it in adolescents, we are seeing it in adults. And the way it affects people, especially from early children, are actually similar, both in children and adults. But the reason why pay particular attention again is because they will not be able to verbalize most of the symptoms. And then we know that children generally, especially less than 5 years, have lower immunity than adults. So what an adult can and your immune system would, take and you'll be fine. You won't have it. Children, it can make them very, very ill. So in children, because of their low immunity, they might be prone to having like more severe illness than adults. And it is also noteworthy that some people can be asymptomatic. And when we say asymptomatic, it means that they have absolutely no symptoms. They have this diphtheria, they are eating, they are drinking, they are fine. But then being asymptomatic does not mean that they cannot transmit the illness. So even in people that don't have any symptoms and they have diphtheria, they can transmit it to other people and make those people very ill. So in children, because of their low immunity, they can have very bad illness and which can lead to death in very bad cases. So we pay very special attention to children, and then generally it affects children more than adults. Like I mentioned before, the largest people it affects were children, especially under fives. But these days we are seeing it in adolescents and adults. So just because we say, oh, diphtheria is commoner in children, does not mean that adults should not also be watchful when they have these symptoms. Present in the hospital, let us examine, let us see, and then we would tell you if it's something you should be worried about or not. We would be able to, delineate if it's diphtheria or if it's just normal sore throat or any other respiratory infection.
What are the treatments that are available, and how effective are the vaccines that are given out? Are there treatments that, one, like you said, for those that don't have the symptoms that are obvious, is it something they could go over the counter, get one or two treatments, or we need to all get to the hospital when it happens? And even in the hospitals, what are the available treatments, and how effective is the vaccine that is being given out?
Okay. So generally for diphtheria, we go with antibiotics. Usually a bit skeptical about mentioning exact names of do this, do that. We can tell you, oh, what do you do at home when you have the symptoms? Like a child is having sore throat, you can do salt water gargle, you can use paracetamol before bringing to the hospital. But in the hospital, we generally treat with antibiotics of the penicillin family. I don't want to mention like specific names because people tend to abuse medications a lot. And when people start buying these drugs over the counter, we tend to miss a lot of cases, and that is not good enough because they can go on to transmit this diphtheria to other people and even worsen the outbreak that we currently have. So anybody that has the symptoms, your child is having fever, child is drooling, give the child paracetamol, bring to the hospital, and we would handle it from there. I'm trying to remember the other question you asked. I don't know, please can you remind me? You asked about 2 or 3 weeks together.
The vaccine, how effective is the vaccine that is being given out?
So the vaccine is very effective, and I'm saying that because diphtheria used to be like a more common illness, but these days I know we've been having outbreaks. We had one in 2023 or 2024. We've been having outbreaks, but it used to be worse than this. So the fact that we've come this far, that we don't see diphtheria very commonly, shows how much vaccines have helped us. And it's not just diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, other communicable diseases. So the vaccines are very effective. But getting the vaccine does not mean that you cannot have diphtheria. And that is one thing people need to know. Just like the way we said during the COVID period, that when we get the vaccine, you can still have the illness, but a less virulent version, which means a less dramatic, or the person will be less ill and the person will be able to clear the illness faster. But the reason why we are having this outbreak, since we are on the vaccine, I'm just going to chip this in. It is very important. I know we have a lot of think pieces about vaccines these days. People have a lot to say, But the truth is that the burden of diseases have reduced significantly with the invention of vaccines. So please, mothers, fathers, take your child to be vaccinated. Lagos State is giving diphtheria vaccines, and they are free in local governments. These vaccines are free, general hospitals. Take your child, take yourself, because when you finish the diphtheria vaccine in children, there's supposed to be a booster dose every 10 years, which people don't really know about. So you can take yourself and your family to any healthcare center next to you, to any general hospital. At least they are free in those places. Can't see your private facility. So please take your children to be vaccinated, because as much as it protects them at home, they don't take it with vaccines are
Dr.
effective to very
Sumola,
large
you have to hold on
extent.
for us for a while because it's time for us to go for a short break. We'll be right back. We just need to take our word on marble. So, Dr. Samiat, don't go anywhere. We've been talking with Dr. Sumola Samiat, very young and energetic doctor. Can you imagine? Very brainy. Let's go for our word on marble. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Come back if you're just joining us. It's still Family and Values, and we've been talking about diphtheria with Dr. Sumola Samiat. He's a medical officer with Shomolu General Hospital. Okay, Dr. Samiat, are you still there? She's beauty with brains. Can you imagine? Hello, doctor, are you still there? Okay. Okay, so I want to find out what is the name, Yoruba name for diphtheria, for the benefit of those who are watching us from home and they want to be familiar with it. This is Family and Value, so our culture is very important too. So what is the common name for diphtheria? That's one. The second thing I want to ask is, what are the early warning signs of diphtheria? What are the early warning signs that when you see something like this, you know? But you talked about the vaccine. Can adults also take the vaccine? That was the last thing you talked about. You talked about the vaccines. I know you talked about children going for the vaccines. Can adults also take the vaccines? And what are the ways we need to control the outbreak of this diphtheria?
Okay. So the Yoruba name for diphtheria, I don't know that. So, I'm not sure there's a Yoruba name. I don't know. I don't know the Yoruba name for diphtheria. Then adults can take the vaccine. Actually, diphtheria is you're supposed to get a booster every 10 years. So yes, adults can take the vaccine. There are ways at which we can control the outbreak. Again, what is bringing us to this point where we are having diphtheria outbreak every market is because people are not taking vaccines. You know, people have a lot of reasons not to take vaccines. And kudos to parents that still make sure that their kids take all their vaccines. But you see, people take, they'll take half or maybe skip some, and then they just leave the rest. Some people don't even believe in vaccines. And it's quite unfortunate because when issues like this arise, it is not only the people that are not vaccinated that is affected, it affects other people. Like I mentioned, even when you are vaccinated, you can still have just a less aggressive version. So the first thing first is to get vaccinated. Take your children and yourself, adults can take the vaccine, to a healthcare center or a general hospital and get vaccinated. Then another way you can prevent it is, when you have anybody around you coughing or having any of these symptoms, please just get a face mask, because the major means of transmission is by respiratory droplets, similar to the way COVID is being transmitted. So you can get a face mask, and then for children that are in daycare, for children that go to school, secondary school, the teachers need to be informed because they need to be very, very vigilant. So you have any child in your classroom that is coughing, that is having catarrh, inform the parents, or the child should not even go to school until this child has been taken to the hospital, tested, and we are sure that this is not what we are dealing with because of how infectious it is. Then you said the warning signs or the early signs of diphtheria. I think I mentioned that earlier, that they mimic normal, regular respiratory illnesses. So you can have fever. Mothers call this temperature. The body is warm. Your child has temperature. An adult has temperature. Then sore throat. I know sore throat is very common, and most times they are harmless. But when you have sore throat, especially now that we have the outbreak, please go to the hospital to get it checked out. Then cough, catarrh. It's in very bad cases, like when it's bad that you will have people having respiratory distress that are not able to breathe well. But the common signs are the fever, the cough, the catarrh. Then for the asymptomatic people, I think a question was asked if they can go over the counter. That was from the last question. I missed that. Because they are asymptomatic, these people don't even know they have anything. And that is why it is dangerous. It is people that know that, oh, my throat is paining me, or something is doing, that would be able to seek help. But people that are asymptomatic, they don't have any symptoms whatsoever. So it's even hard to identify them unless they are doing like a routine test, which, I mean, people don't just present to the hospital without any symptoms unless something is going on. So it falls on us again when we have people that are symptomatic, which are people that we look out for now to quickly present in the hospital and get themselves checked out. But asymptomatic people, unfortunately, they can spread the illness and they are hard to pick because they have no symptoms whatsoever. So there's nothing much to really do about that.
Associated with this infection, and is it possible that it can be eradicated completely from the society, just the way we are trying to fight and eradicate malaria from us? You're talking about vaccine. I know a lot of us have completed the tetanus vaccine for a lifespan or so. So what are the, yes, we've completed this, you know.
It can never be completed as long as you're living.
No, they told me in the hospital I have completed my own lifespan. And for that, as a throughout childbearing, I've completed that. Yeah, I was told
for that period.
Yeah, throughout. So I've completed that. But then, what are the complications? Hello, doctor. Do we still have doctor here?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, so what are the complications that she said with it? And is it possible for it to be eradicated completely here in Nigeria or in Lagos State as a whole?
Okay, while we're trying to get that, while we're trying to wait for the doctor, for someone who gets injured now after having like 4 kids, and you still need to take tetanus.
Well, you
no
see,
matter how
good. That's why
the
sometimes.
reason, because from that time, I'm talking about how many years ago? Almost 20 years ago.
I still went back 20 years ago.
I'm just telling you, for someone who have had 4 kids, prevention, medically, you will still need to go through the process if medically you
went
need
back to the hospital last 2 weeks and I was told that I don't need any tetanus injection. When
God forbid you go through any
but anyway,
injury.
that's by the way.
So
let's go.
But we need to go for this short break, and we'll be right back. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We're still very much here. We've been talking about diphtheria with Dr. Sumola Samiat. Doctor, are you there now? Are you back? Wow.
Yes,
okay, thank you very much for joining us back. So before we went on that break, I was asking about the complications associated with this infection, and is it possible for us to eradicate it completely from our society? So, you know, like we're talking about taking up malaria, roll back malaria, is it possible, even with the help of vaccine and the awareness and everything? What are the complications that comes along with it?
Okay, so one of the complications area is the respiratory difficulty that it comes with. When it gets very bad, it can block the throat, we call it airway, and makes it difficult to breathe. And in very bad cases, the person might need to be on life support to help them breathe. Also, the patches that we have in bacteria at the back of the throat can go into the bloodstream. We call that embolus in medical lingua. So it can cause an infection of the heart muscle, which we call myocarditis. Again, these are extreme cases, but they are possible. And in very bad cases, it can lead to death. So the mortality rates for diphtheria is as high as 2%. That in about 1 to 5 people, it can cause death in about 1 to 5 people less than. So those are the complications. But then the reason why we are having this program in the first place is to make sure that we don't get to a point where we have people dying or people being on life support or people having heart issues from this illness. Then the question about, is it possible to eradicate diphtheria? It's very possible if people do what they are supposed to do. So in saner climes, there are plenty places where diphtheria is a thing of the past. Just like in a time in Nigeria, we used to have measles a lot, chickenpox a lot, and they have reduced. Although we still have, but not bad. So we can actually get to a point where diphtheria would no longer exist, but that means that everybody needs to do their due diligence in vaccination. I mean, that is the only weapon that we have. That is the only thing that we have to actually fight about against this illness. So everybody should be vaccinated and get your booster doses every 10 years. Then, sorry to chip this in, I know there was a conversation about tetanus before we went on the break. So for tetanus, after you finish your 5 doses that you got during pregnancy, and they told you, oh, you are fine, you are good, you can take your booster dose every 10 years. So there's a booster dose Hello.
Teach that
about the booster dose, please.
We can take the booster dose every when, please.
Every 10 years. I had a network. 10 years. Tetanus, diphtheria, hepatitis. There are a couple of vaccines like that you have maybe 3 or 5 complete doses. Then after that, you need to take booster doses, because diphtheria vaccine can actually wane off. The immunity you get from it can wane off over time, and that is why it's important to get booster doses. So when your children, especially the teenagers, most of them that got vaccinated when they were young, they will already have passed that 10 years, and that is why we are doing a mass vaccination for everybody, children, adults, adolescents. Just take your child again to a nearest health facility, preferably a government facility, because you won't have to pay. So this is not a matter of we don't have the money. Please just take your child to a health center, a general hospital, or any government facility next to you, and you get vaccinated.
This campaign help us. Now, this is one of it. We're coming on a public TV station, general TV station, national TV station, sorry, to talk about it. So how can campaign help us prevent this? And can we say the government is doing enough work? What else do you think government can do to help our people regarding diphtheria in our society, around us, in our community, everywhere?
So health campaigns health education. If people are not educated, they don't know what to do. They don't even know what is happening. So the benefit of health campaign is that it helps people, across every strata, both at the local government level, at the state level, even people that don't have access to very maybe big facilities and all. So the importance of health campaigns, going to the radio station, going to television, going to the level people can relate, is to make sure that they are educated. Education is power, knowledge is power. So when they have the knowledge, they can make it into good use. So when people know that, oh, this thing exists, oh, there is an outbreak of diphtheria from the health campaigns that we do, they are able to protect themselves, they are able to prevent themselves from having it. So that, to me, that is the major importance of health campaigns. It helps, and then in so doing, it helps to reduce the burden of disease, because when people know how to prevent it and want what to do when they have it, it helps to reduce the spread of the disease and reduces the burden of the disease. Then what governments can do, well, government is really trying, honestly, because the vaccine is free and the information is out there. What I can just say is to intensify on health campaigns, intensify on, especially at the primary health care level, the community workers, the extension workers, that's the grassroots where we start health education from. That is where the real change happens. So these people need to go into the community. So we need that sensitization. So there should be like evaluation and monitoring in place for healthcare workers at the primary healthcare level, the CHOs, the community healthcare workers, because they are the ones that have like direct access. Sorry, please. I'll go off for a minute, please. There is a disruption. I'm very sorry about it. Sorry.
I wanted to ask her the side effects of the vaccine, because that's very important. A lot of people have reactions once they take vaccines. So
okay, maybe she will come. I'm sure she'll come back to that.
And then, if that reaction occurs, what should be done? Do what should be done?
At home.
Yeah, at home. Because most times it happens at night. And
it can happen anytime. Even when we took the COVID jab, some because they did not eat, there was certain reaction,
out,
like that. So it comes in the parts to individual body
concerning
system.
the vaccine.
Anyway,
if there is any reaction to it.
Okay, I hope Doctor will join us back. But the long and the short of it is, it's all over the place. Lagos State is trying. We are in Lagos, and you're watching us all over, wherever you're watching us from. If you are in Lagos, please go to your primary health center, go to the general hospital. It is free. The vaccine is out there, and like you heard the doctor said, you need to go with your nose mask. Please, this nose mask thing, when you carry it, make sure you are not putting it between your money, naira, as in put it between money. You just put it inside your bag. Make sure it is in a cellophane, a sealed cellophane on its own, and it is washed, it is dry cleaned, it is put in the sun to dry properly, and just keep it in that cellophane, in a very clean cellophane, and seal it up and put it in your bag. That's the essence. But if you put it with money, put it under your, especially I'm not my gender, I know we carry a lot of beautiful things in our bag, and if you're a man, men hardly carry bag, Abby.
But right now,
that's not the question I'm asking
men
you.
Carry bags,
men carry, but not all.
Not all.
So let me finish this on the nose mask.
Pockets.
Anytime you have the nose mask, whether you're a man or you're a woman, and for our children, make sure it is well kept, clean, and kept far away from anything that has dust or anything that will easily contaminate the nose mask. That's where I'm going. Don't put it where it can be easily contaminated, because that is the essence of having a nose mask. It should be clean, it should be ready to use, and it should not be contaminated with any form of item at all, wherever you have kept it. You wanted to say something before you ran off.
That the rains are here, whether you like it or not, and so nose mask is not something they'll need to start preaching for you to carry. You're supposed to carry it. Yes, because now when it rains, you have to deal with respiratory. You have to deal with a whole lot.
You have lots of people sneezing, coughing.
There's a high rate of, in fact, for a few days now, my kids have been down with one person is having cold, and it's going like that sequentially. So if you now imagine a family of 7-8 people, so automatically nose mask right now should be handy, something you need to use to,
and sanitizer as well.
Sanitizer, because the rains are here, whether you like it or not. It's here,
and you may not identify it quickly, like the doctor said. We want to say a big thank you to Dr. Sumola Samiat. She is a medical officer with Shomolu, and she has done a great job this morning. We want to thank you once again, and to all our viewers out there, we love you, we appreciate God's grace over your life. But when God is working, you also need to make action. You need to move. You can't sit in one place and say, God is there, God will help me. God cannot help me if you don't move. So you need to move. God will help us, but we need to move and stay healthy, stay clean. Your environment and everything around you need to stay clean, and go for the vaccination if you have yet to get it. And like our doctor also mentioned something, if you notice you're not breathing well and you feel you are feeling pains in your throat, it's better you take that your child or yourself to hospital to identify what exactly is going on, rather than going through self-medication that you are not sure of, so that you don't have much of the complication.
Well, this morning I just want to say, if you're a commuter on the road, I believe I've said this thing over. Empathy is very key. You don't get on the road and delay every other but to ransom simply because you have a misunderstanding with the driver or with the conductor. You know, when you remove the battery and say the car should not go, come on, you're causing whatever it is. I believe it can be settled peacefully, you know, aside the road, so that you don't cause a lot of traffic. That's for us making use of the road. All right, thank you for being a part of Thursday. It's a healthy one. We've said it all. Come on, go get it. Now that the nose mask is cheap, please go for it before it skyrockets. You know the country how it is.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful Thursday. I am Princess Joy Eyo Abus.
Okay, tomorrow is going to be another wonderful time, as we'll be talking about a beautiful topic. Tomorrow, Friday, please don't miss it. Okay, we'll be talking about role of love languages in relationship. How well do our young ones understand love languages? I know they understand even better than the adult, but they all have their ways and they implement it into their relationship. So I'll be talking very much more on that tomorrow. Hope to see you tomorrow as we'll be running the show. My name is Rumin Oluradejoke Adubidevi. Thank you to everyone who has made today's show a success, and to our supervising officer, Mr. Teslim, and every member of the camera crew, the MCR, our editor, our voiceover babe, my darling sis. God bless you. Thank you, everyone. We love you, and to our president, God continue to be your guide. Have a lovely and a wonderful day. Bye for now.